Hey all, this is a quick Rebelle 8 bristle brush video. I'm going to demonstrate how I use a default brush to make a beautiful portrait. Show you how easy it is. I think the total paint time on this was 28 real minutes. I'm going to speed it up obviously so you don't have to sit here for that long, but check it out. Let me know what you think. Here we are with the Flat Dry 2 default texture brush, but we can switch it over to bristle brush with just a click of a button. Those of you guys who are asking, hey, how do I use these new bristle brushes? This is how easy it is. Go to the brush creator window, toggle from texture brush to bristle brush, and start having fun. No other settings, no changes, just paint. But wait, there's more. So I'm going to use that same bristle brush, as you can see here, just default settings across the board. I'm going to do the entire painting with this brush just so I can show you how effective these brushes are. And here's, my normal process, starting with some basic line work to just sort of map in where everything's going to go. It's just called dynamic simplification, right? Kind of use your eye to measure where everything should go, figure out where the lights, the darks, the eyes, the nose, where everything fits. But the most important part of this video is just talking about the brushes and the brush engine. I'll do a lot of videos about this as we get going, but I wanted to get this one out quickly. And unfortunately, the first night I did a bunch of recordings, I lost everything. So I've had to start from scratch, and here we are. Couple things about my workspace really quickly, just to kind of organize our thoughts. I have my color window up there, and underneath it, I have a color set. That color set, where I'm getting these values, is from the actual reference image. So I can just use that color set drawn directly from the reference, and I can kind of have a simplified, kind of minimalistic version of all the colors that are within the reference image. And for the purpose of today's video, I'm not worried about perfect drawing, perfect perspective, or perfect anything really. I'm just enjoying the process of painting. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy the process of painting, especially when these brushes work just like my oil paint brushes do. Now, I've heard myself say that in the past. I've been an artist who's used Corel. I've used Art Rage. I've used, everything. Procreate, Heavy Paint, Krita, Photoshop. I have custom brushes for my class in Photoshop. I have custom brushes for Rebelle. I have custom brushes for Art Rage. I have custom brushes for everything. And, I have fought to get that feeling of that wonderful alla prima brushes that I use, the flat and the filbert, and how I just kind of go after it when I paint. And I've had some wonderful experiences in the past using brushes that were really good, but nothing like this. And you'll see as this painting emerges, I'm literally I wanted to prove my point by saying, look, I haven't tinkered or refined this brush at all. As you can see above the brush, you can see over in the window of all those little brushes sitting there on the left side of the screen. I have quite a few homemade brushes, and I love them. I really love them. But for today, I just wanted to say, look, you don't need to get all crazy and fancy with your brushes. You can just pick a nice default brush, turn it into a bristle brush. You don't have to get into the deep settings and even understand what's going on with that brush engine. You can just paint. A couple things though I want to talk about is I have my canvas is set up at 300 pixels per inch at 10 by 14 inches. So it's a nice, good, dense pixel density, a nice size. You could export this at a good size, especially with nanopixel, but it's kind of an important piece because the size of your brush, the size of your canvas, the pixel density, and the canvas texture, which in this case is just one of the kind of default canvas textures. It allows you to create something with a lot of synergies that make the mark look like real paint. So as you can see here, it's starting to take hold. It's starting to have that look. And, as I was working through this, I was working pretty fast. I just was still frustrated after losing hours and hours and hours of work. So I just wanted to get something on paper. And this is what I decided to do, and I just really loved it. So if you were to watch me oil paint over the decades, this is what it looks like when I oil paint. I mean, exactly. More so than any other time I've digital painted. And it's because this is a real simulation, like a really effective, good simulation. One of the things, and I'm going to do a comparison in the days to come, but I'm going to demonstrate how the mark making in, let's say, Art Rage is very good. It's a simulation of virtual paint as well. But every time you put the mark down, the end and the beginning of the stroke are effectively a pre-calculated texture. And so there's a sameness, kind of an annoying sameness to every single mark. And you have to work at it to kind of hide those places where your brush touches the canvas and where it leaves the canvas, because it's just so redundant. But in this case, the way that the brush enters and exits the canvas, the surface, it's just like real paint. And it's that simulation of all those bristles. And it's so cool because, your mind into it, it's like, oh, I see this is what's happening. But as the brush dances across the surface, and if you have a tablet that has tilt, you're tilting the shaft of the pen, and it helps you have so much control over what's happening, just like the real thing. And it allows you, as you get to this point of the painting, to really evoke exactly what you want with each individual mark. The pressure, the direction, the tilt, it all just works. And I think it's the most satisfying brush simulation for not just recreating the traditional experience, but it's the most satisfying brush to canvas, digital brush to digital canvas experience I have ever had. And this has happened to me a couple times back with Rebelle 7. I love the grunge brushes. That's my favorite set of default brushes in Rebelle 7. Love them. But, and I'd use those and my own brushes, and I had a lot of fun. But just using this one brush is just perfect. So where do we go from here? Well, there's a lot, actually. Like I told you, there are all these menus. You can see just one of the menus for the bristle brushes there over on the right-hand side. And you can refine and tinker and play, and you can make brushes that work exactly like you want them to. And that is crazy because it's already perfect, right? But then you get to just refine perfection. It just is an exciting thing. And like I said, there'll be more to explore, more to see, but I wanted to get this video out quickly because I wanted just to get something up. I lost all the recordings I did, like I said, and I just wanted to get something up for all you guys that were waiting. So I apologize for the delay. But as you can see, this painting not only has a very tactile, real feeling, like an oil painting, like an oil sketch, like an alla prima portrait, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the vocabulary of the brushwork is full of variety, it's full of authenticity, and the way that it allows you to paint is just perfection. So what's to come? More brushes. I want to show you how my custom brushes for this look and how they're different from maybe a default brush. I want to show you how you can dig into the menus and find some amazingly cool little features that will make your own experience even better. Then I want to talk about doing some charcoal and pencil work just for people that they want to sketch first, because sketching is always a little easier than painting. You don't have to deal with moisture or simulated moisture. You just get, that kind of familiar feeling of dry media. So those are some of the things coming. I'm also going to do some comparison videos that'll do very one-to-one direct comparisons. I think it'll be very cool. So Keep your eye on the channel and let me know if there's something you want to see. Thanks so much and take care.